Okay, what is to be expected in this next section? We're now going to look at inequalities. And we'll look at linear inequalities, compound inequalities, and then applied problems. If you remember, an inequality is a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. In other words, there's not an equal sign. And you're going to see when you solve these that you pretty much do the same thing with equations, except one little crazy thing. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you flip the inequality sign. So let's take a look at a couple of these. So as you can see here on the left, I want you do the same thing as you want to isolate x, your variable. A lot of times students will just think of that as an equal sign until if you multiply or divide by a negative number. So as you can see here, I can simply move things around. Like I can bring the 2x, the negative 2x to this side, so it becomes plus 2x, 5x. Now I can add the 5 to the other side and I get my answer. And how you express these answers, as you can see already, the graph was there, but notice this is less than. So we use this line as a such that, x has to be less than 11 over 5. Or we can say all the way from negative infinity up into 11 over 5, and notice that parentheses. I mentioned that here on this next one. So the next one, I'm just going to kind of open up and go through all the steps. The only thing that weird happened, notice I divided both sides by negative 17, so I had to flip the sign. And now to see my actual answer, I not only flipped the sign, so now it's less than or equal to. Notice when that line's under here, less than or equal to, there wasn't a line here, that parentheses becomes a square bracket. So you just have to be careful with that. Compound inequalities pretty much work the same. You just have to be sure that you do everything to every piece, is, kind of like what I say, because they set these up as one big piece, but this is really the meaning of them. If you have the and, you can write them all together, but with the or, this is called a disjunction. They're kept separated. So if I have this compound inequality, I keep my eye on the prize, which is right here in the middle, and my equation. So I could subtract the 5 on every term. So every single term, subtract a 5. Now I can divide everything by 2, and I can come up with my answer that it's between negative 4 and 1. And notice it includes 1, so that's why it has a square bracket, but didn't include negative 4. With the or, these look a little separate. If I can get my slide to move. So to solve this one, I solve each one individually. So notice that I solved this left one. I added 5. I divided by 2. I solved the right one. I added 5. I divided by 2. And these are separate because of this being an or as you might see, the union symbol. Let's get to our application. It says for an interior decorating job, Natalia can be paid in one of two ways: $2.50 plus $10 per hour, or plan B, $20 per hour. Suppose that a job takes n hours. For what values of n is better than plan B? And as we talked before, familiarize yourself with the problem, read it. For a 20-hour job, so n equals 20. My plan A said $2.50 plus $10 times the 20 hours. My plan B was simply the $20 times the 20 hour. So it looks like plan A is better for a 20-hour job, but say for a 30-hour job, n equals 30. And I look at the two plans, that plan B would be better because she's getting paid. And so we could translate this into an inequality. Income from plan B is greater than income from plan A. Okay, so I've written out my inequality. I can solve this inequality, get my n's all together. So I would subtract this 10n, throw it over here. I would divide by 10. I didn't do any negative values, so I get n is greater than 25. So if n equals 25, the two plans are actually equal. Anything greater than 25, okay, is gonna pay more. And so we state this for values of n greater than 25 hours. Plan B is actually better. So as you can see, once again, we can write these inequalities in a manner that something that we can apply in everyday life.